Hey everybody, this is Alex Merced from alexmercedcoder.com. And just a reminder, if you haven't been subscribed to my two podcasts, that's Web Development 101, where I focus on web development topics, and Data Nation, where I talk a lot more about data-related topics, which, if you work with databases, which generally every developer is going to work with databases, it's a good thing to watch because I go over a lot of like sort of database type content about like how to optimize your data and stuff like that. So subscribe to both of those on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, etc. Now today's topic, there is a newer CSS and JS library that I'd like to cover, and then it's called Stitches. Okay, so a CSS and JS library is a library that allows you to do CSS in your JavaScript. So if you in the React world, you're probably familiar with like styled components, emotion, JSS. Those are the three that sort of pop off the top of my head. Um, but here's another one, stitches. So we're going to try this out. I've actually never tried this out. So you're watching me try this out for the first time as you watch this video. So we're going to read this documentation together, kind of see exactly how this works. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go spin up a new React project. So here I'm in my React folder where I spin up different projects for this, for these videos. Okay, so I'm going to just do an npx create React app. I want to add the latest flag, so I always make sure I use the latest version. And then we're just going to call this try stitches. Okay, so that's creating the project. So that's going to take a second. And then once that's done, we're going to want to install it by running this command here. Okay, and then we just open up the documentation. And let's just kind of take a quick look through it. So basically it looks like we import this styled method. Okay, and then essentially what we do is, hey, we're going to pass the styled argument function, two arguments, the element, and then we pass it an object with our CSS. So basically the CSS is not going to be, it's not going to be like styled components where you write the CSS in a template literal, and you just do it in normal CSS syntax. Looks like here you're doing it more in the JavaScript syntax. And there's pros and cons of both. And then what we do, so let's see here, const button. So there's the thing there. And then it just becomes a style. So basically this is going to be a lot like styled components. The difference, instead of using template literals, we're using JavaScript objects. Cool. Okay, this is supposed to be pretty fast. Like there's like, if you read the documentation, a lot of sort of the selling point of this is that it's really fast. And the other cool thing is that you can use this in different libraries. Like it's not just React. You could use it in like Vue, I think probably Angular, Svelte, Solid. So you can use it beyond React. So we're using specifically the React implementation, but there are other ways to use stitches. So in this case, this is the stitches React. Okay, so I think this should probably be done. Yep. So let's first actually cd into the new folder. So try stitches, and then we're going to install stitches. Run that. So now let's head over here, go to the source, and I'm going to just update the app component real quick. Oh, nope, that's the wrong thing. Try stitches, where you at? Did I accidentally do it in the wrong folder? Oh, okay, so it looks like this thing opened it up in the wrong folder. So it's actually in a folder above this, so I'm going to just have to remake the app again. So let's just cd into, well, let's just do it this way. Let's create a new terminal. Yeah. And then we're going to do the npx create try stitches in there. And yep, there it is. Try stitches. Good. Let that do its thing. While that does that, let's just take a look a little bit more. Okay, and see you can apply like special stylings like hovers pretty easily by just adding that as a key in the object. So that's pretty cool. Let's just see if we see anything else that's pretty interesting. Other functions available. So we have these other functions available. Let's see here. Create stitches. What does this function does? Configure stitches, create stitches.config.ts file, and import the create stitches function. Okay, create stitches equals create stitches. And okay, so here you can pass in like themes and like create variables that I guess I'm assuming we can use. Okay, so like theme defines your design theme, which maps to CSS properties. Define responsive breakpoints. Got it. So here we define our breakpoints, and then we can use those in there. So that way you can use those as keys and then style those specific keys or refer to those specific variables. That's all fine and good. What I am curious is more about this CSS method. Where is that in here? Styling, styles, styled. Cool. Okay, so let's head back here. Now that should be done. CD try stitches. And then let's install it again. Add stitches react. Good. And now let's try this out. So I'm going to go CD in. Oh, I'm already in there. So I'm going to do npm start to start the project. Okay, that's just going to open up the normal React app. So I'm going to be changing that in a second anyway. So let's go to our app.js. Let's empty out this div. And what I'm going to want to do is I'm going to want to import styled from at stitches react. Okay, so now we can use it. So what I want to do is say const, we'll call it red h1, will be the name of the new styled component, and it's going to equal styled, and it's an h1, and then here we pass the properties, where I want the color to be red, I want the background color to be light, well, let's see here, light coral, let's do that. Okay, and then what I'd like to do is, let's say, at hover, so at hover will be the key. Let me just see if there was a space in there at all, looking at the docs. Okay, and before, okay, so we're just using, okay, I see. Let's go back there one more time. Okay, so we are using a colon, which makes sense. It's a pseudo selector. Okay. And then we're going to say, hey, when you hover over it, I should get the opposite result. So I'm going to change this to light coral. Light coral. And then I'm going to change this to red. Okay. Hit save on that. Okay, and now we'll just use this red h1 component. And just say, hello, let's see if this works. Okay, so now let's go back to the React app. And yeah, look at that. It works. You get the hover effect and everything. Okay, so that's neat. And the cool thing about that is, like, because it's a JavaScript object, that means we can do more JavaScript object-y things than we necessarily things that we couldn't have done in, which when I think of most things, probably most things could be done through template literals. So it's just a different form. I actually don't mind this sort of form better. I just kind of like JavaScript objects versus like typing in a bunch of text. But yeah, well, this works, and this is just another way to style, in this case, your React apps, but can be used with other libraries by using the base stitches library. And hopefully you guys enjoyed this video with another way for you to write CSS in your JavaScript and write, again, not styled components because it's not the styled components library, but the same thing. You create components that have all those stylings built in, which I like because I like being able to just like read, get these sort of semantic names for these components and kind of know what kind of styling is being applied and kind of have that flexibility. And again, if I don't use them, they don't get bundled in the final code, which is also a big benefit, because generally if you use a CSS file, it all gets piled up in one CSS file or many CSS files, but it oftentimes still ends up in that final bundle, whether you use every CSS rule or not, which just inflates your bundle for no reason. So with that, my name is Alex Merced from alexmercedcoder.com. Again, if you enjoyed this, leave a like, subscribe, and all of that good stuff. Leave a comment if you have any other CSS JS libraries that you really like, and I'll see you all next time.